The Red Sox are a hot mess. As much as you might try to put that by the wayside as a Red Sox fan, it is true. And now the whole world is seeing it again with this Rafael Devers trade. 6 years ago, 5 years ago, the Mookie Betts trade, everyone's like, wow, what a bombshell. What a dumb move by the Red Sox. That happens once in a generation. Now it's happened again. In fact, it's probably the third time in the last 5 years you've traded a Hall of Famer and gotten almost nothing in return. And this one comes out of nowhere. It shocks everybody. It doesn't make any sense. Most people paying attention in baseball knew a Mookie Betts trade was coming, even though it was so outlandish. Nobody saw this one coming. And it leads to a great, great story from Yahoo Sports from June Lee, who calls it inside the, quote, absolute shit show, end quote, that led to the Boston Red Sox's trade of Rafael Devers. And June lays it all out, from really the Mookie trade to spring training to the conversations in Kansas City to not trying to move off third base, not trying to move on to first base, all of this back and forth, even some stories we hadn't heard before, all laying out why this organization is much more of a mess than even just this one trade. It's unrecognizable from the franchise we saw rise to, fame that they hadn't seen, glory they hadn't seen in 90 to 100 years. And you thought it might be coming back. It's not. It hasn't been this far away in a long time, to the point where nobody is on the same page. The players, the manager, the front office, the people working within the front office probably have cubicles right next to each other. It's not adding up. And it's almost like this team right now is winning in spite of it. Because this is a real bad situation going on behind closed doors. And it's not limited to Craig Breslow and Rafael Devers. This is happening to Craig Breslow from his own staff. Here's what June Lee wrote about and talked about on the radio this morning about how it's not just Rafael Devers that has a personal beef with the Red Sox general manager.
There's a Zoom meeting that's filled with people from across the organization. Breslow is giving information. The Zoom meeting ends, and on a hot mic, a scouting coordinator, his name is Carl Moshe. He'd been with the Red Sox since 2017. He says under his breath, "Thank you, Brez, you effing stiff." And that goes out across the entire organization. This happened about a month ago. And Breslow, as a result of that going out there, decided to fire Moshe. Now, it's interesting because Moshe's sentiment is kind of reflected across most of the front office right now. And so the fact that this got out there, is kind of an embodiment of how much chaos is going on in the front office. The fact that this is a sentiment that not only happened in a Zoom meeting but got out to the public, got to me as a reporter, I think speaks to the level of chaos that is going on and the level of disagreement that's going on.
There's like a mutiny in that front office, man. They hate him. I feel like Tom Jackson after Belichick cut Lawyer Malloy, and he's like, they hate their coach. No, this sounds real. They really don't like this guy. They don't like the moves. They don't like the direction that this organization is going, to the point where not only, like as June points out, not only does one guy say that, but then it gets out to a reporter. 2 other sources confirm, yeah, this did happen. So it's not just Rafael Devers that has a problem with Craig Breslow. It's not just us, the fans. It goes so deep. And it's probably a rift with the manager as well, who, signs this extension last year with the promise that, we're going to go all in and we're going to start to win. And it feels like it. And I'm not saying Alex Cora has done a great job this year, because I don't think he has. But you get this promise. You go out and get Cora's guy, Bregman. You go out and trade for Crochet. You extend them right away. You're bringing up the kids. And then you just trade the best player. Saving some money. You got to save some money around here. And this is the fundamental difference from this Red Sox team. Even if they are good, even if this team does make the postseason, here's the fundamental difference between a team like this and a team that you had 15, 20 years ago, even 10 years ago. those teams wanted to win. Like, no matter what. Financials were never, ever really part of the discussion with the Red Sox. They spent a lot of money. Probably not quite as much as the Yankees, but they spent a lot of money because it wasn't about, a luxury tax or salary dumps or, moving guys around different positions. They wanted to win baseball games. They set it up at 95 wins a year, top 2 in the division, postseason, World Series teams. Like, I saw David Ortiz rushing to the defense of the Red Sox here because I don't think he likes Rafi anymore. And saying, we don't know, Rafi might not have been good for the clubhouse, yada, yada, whatever it was. Like, he might not have. Again, I'm not saying Rafi Devers was a great teammate here. I was just as pissed as every Red Sox fan that he didn't want to move off third base, that he wouldn't help the team and play first base. I did plenty of segments on it. I'm not saying he's a great teammate. But the guy's not Manny Ramirez. He's not Barry Bonds. In fact, I watched a great little mini documentary about Sammy Sosa, why the Cubs hate him. He's not that. He's not A-Rod on the Yankees. He's not suing the team. He's not leaving games early. He's not showing up for series the way Manny did. He's not slapping any women around. He's not doing any of that. He's being a baby. But what my point is back then the Red Sox were willing to eat a lot of crap if it meant winning baseball games. Now they don't do either of those things. They're getting rid of a guy who's a saint compared to Manny to dump his salary and decide to probably not win as many baseball games. Irony is they're in a playoff spot right now, but they're not a better team than they were when Rafi Devers was on the team. And again, this story is very damning. It's not just that part of it, but talking about the return and some of the conversations that happened, because look, I need to kind of address this as well. Like, I kind of said it, poo-pooed it a few seconds ago, but like, Rafi Devers was not a good teammate. That's again, not the level of Manny or Sammy Sosa or anything like that, but he wasn't a good teammate. He didn't move positions to help the team. He bad talked his GM to the media. Saying, I don't know what the issue he has is with me. He knows that I can't play every position. Well, he asked you to play two. One you had played for 8 years of your major league career. Okay, so it seems like a crybaby kind of stuff, man. Absolutely. And then the story that also comes out with this June Lee story is that he gets mad, Rafi Devers gets mad at Christian Campbell, the rookie, because he offers to go and play first base. And it's like, okay, yeah, this kid's trying to make it in the big leagues. Management is asking somebody to do something, and he's stepping up, and Rafi Devers is mad at him because it seems like a slight at Rafi. So again, I don't like this. I don't like that it's all about Rafi. But I also don't know where we lost our way as an organization. Because this is now year after year after year after year where they tell you, the fan, and the rest of the front office, and Alex Cora, the manager, they're telling these guys, next year's going to be the one. Like, we're going to start to really go all in. We feel like we've got the team. We're going to make some moves. And now it's next year again. Next year's when we'll do it. Right? We need to get rid of that clubhouse cancer. We need to get rid of that money so that we can spend even more. Now we get $250 million free. What do you think the Red Sox are going to do with that? Like, is there anything that they've shown us over the last few years that says, yeah, they're going to make 2 big moves here? And people saying, oh, well, now it frees them up to make a big move at the trade deadline. How? You don't have any more value than you had 2 days ago. You could go out and sign a free agent in December or March at this point in how the baseball season works. But this doesn't open up anything for you in the trade market. You don't have anything more than you had right now. In fact, there's nobody on your major league roster today that you got in that trade. You have no prospects and no major leaguers. How does that make you any more flexible at the trade deadline than it did 2 days ago? It doesn't. It's bullshit. And that's what this organization is. It's bullshit. Year after year, they're just going to make up another excuse as to why they're not going all in, as to why they're not spending the money. Since when do the Red Sox need cost-cutting measures? You know, in 2012, when they had 3 bad contracts, yeah, that was it. This was one contract that wasn't even bad yet. They just keep lying to you, man. Like, seriously, I talked about it with the Roman Anthony stuff. You know, 2 weeks ago, they were saying, we can't call him up because we don't want him to be the savior of this team. And then 2 weeks later, they fucking trade the face of the franchise, and now it's Roman Anthony. Now he's the guy. Can't find a spot in the lineup for him every day. We just need our Gold Glove right fielder to get hurt, and we need to trade the best hitter we have. That's how we make room for Roman Anthony. Oh, but don't say he's the savior. Don't say he's the face of the franchise. We can't have that. It's total bullshit. Like 100%, man. And they're just now like kind of using the guy who is going to be the next face of your franchise, Roman Anthony. Don't think he is 1 week into his major league career. Call me crazy. But now you're putting him in a tough position that you said the fans were going to put him in. And remember, it wasn't that long ago, it was a few days ago that they were talking about this. We were talking about it on our show, that when when Wilyer Abreu comes back, that Roman Anthony was going to be sent back down. That was like 3-4 days ago. There was a real likelihood that Roman Anthony would be sent back down to Worcester when Wilyer Abreu was healthy. Now he's the face of the franchise. Are you feeling me here? None of this is adding up. Nothing that this franchise is doing is making sense. You know, they're one of the biggest market teams in the league. They're now 19th in payroll after shedding the Rafael Devers contract. Congrats, you guys did it. Once again, bottom half of the league in payroll in a market like Boston. It's crazy. It's asinine. They don't spend money. They're much more willing to trade their prospects that they've worked for years to develop than actually spend some money on free agents at market value. And they're just going to keep telling you that it's next year. Like, who is next? Is the clock ticking on Roman Anthony? Is the clock ticking on Alex Bregman? Is the clock ticking on Garrett Crochet? You know, all of these guys now, you have to wonder, when are the Red Sox going to offload them? Because it's all about that bottom line. The bottom line for this organization, even under this ownership, used to be winning. That was the bottom line. Now the bottom line is the bottom line. And it's never been more evident than it is right now. They are much more willing to trade Hall of Famers than they are eating some money and putting a winning baseball team on the field. That's what they have proven to us in the last 7 years. They are much more willing to do that than to go to the postseason. To keep a core intact that will play winning baseball for years to come. They'd rather not deal with that. They'd rather get the Henrys some more yachts. They'd rather put some money into Liverpool Football Club, which we'll talk about later in the show. But this is, without a doubt, a complete shit show. My show and the Red Sox front office, a complete shit show. And it's never been more evident than right now. If the team uses this as a rallying point, great. But they're not a better team than they were 2 days ago. And there's nothing this front office can say that's going to change our minds on that. Speaking of which, we're going to hear from the guys in the front office in the next segment. But guys, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, get involved in the comment section below. How bad is this Rafael Devers trade? Was it the right move in the end? Do you like them shedding salary this often? Sound off on this Red Sox front office in the comment section below. Again, like and subscribe if you hate this deal. We are live on YouTube every weekday, high noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. Check out the other videos on the channel talking Red Sox and everything else Boston sports. I'm your host, Cam Stuart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week.